And here's Rome up close, where our story really plays out. Meet Hannibal Barca. He's 9 years old. He's just sworn to hate Rome forever. And he's about to make that his whole personality. First, let's set the stage. Here's the world our story unfolds in, around 218, with Rome right at the heart of it. Fast forward 20 years. Hannibal is now a full-grown, elephant-obsessed warlord, and he's got his eye on a juicy Spanish city called Saguntum. Problem: Saguntum is a Roman ally. Hannibal doesn't care. He lays siege, because nothing says diplomacy like battering rams at dawn. The siege drags on. 8 months of Hannibal's creative destruction, towers, tunnels, and a whole lot of screaming. Finally, the walls crack. Saguntum falls. Hannibal's soldiers pour in, and the Second Punic War officially begins with a bang and a lot of loot. Now the big move, the road from New Carthage to Rome. Hannibal looks at the Alps. They are tall, snowy, and very much in his way. He shrugs. "I have elephants," he says, as if that solves everything. 15 days of freezing hell later, Hannibal's army stumbles down the Italian side. Half his men are gone. Most of his elephants are well not. But he made it. Panic. A Carthaginian army just dropped out of the sky, or the mountains, same difference. Ow, they sputter. Hannibal just smiles and pats his remaining elephant. Publius Cornelius Scipio rides out to meet Hannibal. He's brought his army, his confidence, and absolutely no idea what's about to hit him. Hannibal unleashes his secret weapon, Numidian cavalry. They swarm the Romans like angry hornets at a picnic, fast, furious, and very, very annoying. Scipio takes a javelin to the shoulder, and his army watches their consul bleed. The Romans break. Hannibal's first victory on Italian soil, and he's just getting started. December 2, 18 BC. The Trebia River is freezing, and Roman consul Sempronius Longus is hungry for glory. Hannibal has laid out a breakfast buffet of ambush. Sempronius takes the bait. He marches his army across the icy river, soggy, cold, and very unhappy. Hannibal gives the signal, "Now, boys." Carthaginian cavalry and infantry burst from the reeds, surrounding the wet, frozen Romans. 20,000 Romans die, a very cold, very bad day. Consul Flaminius is a confident man. Too confident. He sees Hannibal's campfires flickering by Lake Trasimene and thinks, easy pickings. But Hannibal has read the terrain like a cookbook. He hides his men in the foggy defile, behind every rock and tree. The lake steams with morning mist. The Romans march into the trap. Suddenly, horns blare, and Carthaginians pour from the mist like angry ghosts. Flaminius's jaw drops. This is not a battle, it's a slaughter. Rome's new dictator, Fabius Maximus, is a cautious man. He watches Hannibal's camp from a safe hilltop, munching on a snack. Fabius refuses to fight. Instead, he sends his men to steal Hannibal's lunch, burning crops, raiding supply wagons, and being a general nuisance. Hannibal is furious. He tries to provoke Fabius in a battle, but the Roman just yawns and asks if that's all he's got. August 2nd, 216 BCE. Rome's biggest army ever, 86,000 men, marches onto a dusty plain near Cannae. Consul Vero is feeling lucky. The Roman center pushes forward, deeper into the pocket. Then Hannibal gives the signal. The African flanks swing in, and his cavalry slams the door shut. Word of Cannae spreads like wildfire. Capua, the second city of Italy, decides Rome's goose is cooked. Time to bet on the elephant. Hannibal accepts their allegiance with a warm smile and a promise. Capua will be the new capital of Italy. The envoys practically skip back home. Capua opens its gates to Carthaginian troops. The citizens cheer, not realizing they've just signed up for a very long siege and a grudge match with Rome. Syracuse is a Greek city that has picked the wrong side. So Roman general Marcellus shows up with ships, ladders, and a very bad attitude. But Syracuse has a secret weapon, an old man with a beard and a lever. Archimedes is about to make Marcellus regret his life choices. Archimedes' claw lifts a Roman ship clean out of the water, shaking it like a dog with a rat. The Romans scream. Marcellus's jaw drops. 207 BC, Hasdrubal Barca has marched all the way from Spain to join his big brother Hannibal. He's brought reinforcements, elephants, and a very optimistic letter. But Roman consul Nero has intercepted that letter. He reads it, laughs, and hatches a plan. Sneak away from Hannibal, join his co-consul Livius, and crush Hasdrubal before anyone notices. At the Metaurus River, Hasdrubal realizes he's outnumbered. His Gallic allies are drunk, his elephants are useless, and his brother is nowhere to be seen. Things are not going according to plan. Nero and Livius attack. The Romans smash into Hasdrubal's line. The Carthaginian center holds, but the flanks crumble like stale bread. Hasdrubal fights bravely, but it's over. Hasdrubal dies in the chaos. The Romans cut off his head and carry it like a grisly trophy. They know exactly where to deliver it. Scipio Africanus has a plan so bold it sounds like a bar bet. Capture New Carthage, the heart of Carthaginian Spain, in a single day. At low tide, the lagoon to the north becomes a muddy walkway. Scipio leads his men through the muck, like a very ambitious, very soggy field trip. The Romans scale the undefended wall, catching the garrison completely off guard. New Carthage falls, and Scipio just became the proud owner of a war chest and a navy. Scipio Africanus, the Roman golden boy, arrives at Becula with an army that actually wants to fight. Hasdrubal Barca, meanwhile, has parked himself on a hill so steep he thinks he's untouchable. Scipio, ever the strategist, splits his army in two. Half feints frontally while the other half sneaks around the back. Hasdrubal doesn't notice. He's too busy admiring his own high ground. The Romans swarm the hill from both sides. Hasdrubal's army crumbles like a stale cracker. He escapes with his treasury and a few friends, but his Spanish dream is toast. Scipio lines up his troops in the same formation as the Carthaginians, but he's got to trick up his tunic. The Romans advance slowly, then suddenly stop, grinning like they know something you don't. Scipio's cavalry, led by the ever-reliable Laelius, circles around the Carthaginian flank like a pack of wolves at a buffet. The Iberian allies on the Carthaginian side start sweating. Their loyalty is about as solid as a sandcastle. The Carthaginian line crumbles like a stale biscuit under a steamroller. Hasdrubal Gisco flees, leaving his army to become a cautionary tale. Spain is now Roman, and Scipio is the undisputed star of the show. Scipio Africanus, fresh off his Spanish victory tour, decides the best defense is a good offense, right in Carthage's living room. The Roman fleet hits the beach near Utica. 35,000 men, horses, and enough siege gear to make a wall cry, all disembarking on North African sand. Carthage panics. They got a Roman army in their backyard, and their best general is still in Italy, sulking about elephants. Scipio, ever the overachiever, decides to burn not one, but two enemy camps in one night. Because why stop at arson when you can double it? Roman soldiers creep through the dark like clumsy ninjas, torches in hand. The Numidian camp is asleep, dreaming of sheep and spears, until everything is on fire. 40,000 Carthaginians and Numidians don't wake up. They just smolder. Scipio's accountant is thrilled that a lot of enemy math to cross out. In 203 BCE, Carthage panics and sends an urgent recall to Hannibal. Come home. Scipio is barbecuing our armies. Hannibal, after 15 glorious years of terrorizing Italy, packs his bags. He boards a ship at Croton, taking 15,000 battle-hardened veterans with him. As the ship sails off, Hannibal casts one last look at Italy. He mutters, "I'll be back." Spoiler, he won't. October 19th, 202 BCE, the plains of Zama. Two titans, Hannibal and Scipio, finally square off like rival chefs about to settle a grudge with a cook-off. Hannibal unleashes his secret weapon, 80 war elephants. He expects chaos. Scipio expects elephants and has a plan. Scipio's maniples open lanes like a polite crowd parting for a runaway bus. The elephants charge straight through, harmlessly. Carthage's senators huddle like guilty schoolboys caught stealing cookies. The treaty is harsh, but what choice do they have? Rome demands Spain, a fleet of warships, and a pile of silver so high it would make Scrooge McDuck jealous. 10,000 talents, to be precise. The Carthaginian senators sign with trembling hands. Their war elephants? Gone. Their navy? Reduced to a few fishing boats. Ouch! In 149 BCE, Carthage finally snaps. After decades of Numidian land grabs, they grab their spears and defend themselves. Big mistake. Rome, ever the hall monitor, sees Carthage fighting back and shrieks treaty violation. Cue the dramatic gavel of war. Rome declares war, not because Carthage is a threat, but because Cato the Elder has been ending every speech with Carthage must be destroyed, like a broken record. Scipio Aemilianus, Rome's new golden boy, stares at Carthage's triple walls and thinks, right, let's see how many siege towers it takes to ruin a 1,000-year-old city. Carthage's walls are so thick they shrug off Roman battering rams like a grumpy old man swatting a fly. The Romans grind their teeth. For 3 years, Carthage fights like a cornered honey badger, every street a trap, every house a fortress. Rome is not amused. Spring 146 BCE, Scipio Aemilianus's legionnaires finally punch through Carthage's triple walls. The city's last hope crumbles like week-old baklava. For 6 days, Carthage fights like a wounded lion, every alley a kill box, every house a fortress. Romans clear it block by bloody block. When the last resistance dies, Scipio orders the city razed and the ground salted. Carthage, once queen of the seas, becomes a ghost of ash and tears. Carthage is a smoking heap. Rome stands atop the ruins, flexing like the new kid who just won the lunch table. Rome's imperial expansion kicks in a high gear. They look east, rub their hands, and whisper, Greece, you're next.